Hello students. So we are in the second module and we are discussing compass surveying. And in the previous class, in the video, we have seen what exactly is compass surveying. We have understood what is compass surveying, and you have even seen what different types of meridian we have, like true meridian, magnetic meridian, and arbitrary meridian. And you have understood even the bearings. Bearing is nothing but horizontal angle on the surface of the earth, and it is nothing but the angle between the meridians and the line of observation. So if any line is lying on the ground, its angle with respect to true meridian will be called as true bearing. Its angle with respect to magnetic bearing will be called as, magnetic meridian will be called as magnetic bearing, and the line and the arbitrary meridian, the angle between those two will be called as arbitrary bearing. So after this we have even seen the designation of bearing, like how exactly we designate the bearing. So like a whole circle bearing system as well as quadrantal bearing system. I forgot to mention the another name for quadrantal bearing system, that is reduced bearing. Another name for quadrantal bearing system will be reduced bearing, and whole circle bearing has got another name, azimuthal bearing, right? So whole circle bearing WCB and quadrantal bearing QB or reduced bearing RB. And when it is whole circle bearing, you remember that it is with respect to north measured in clockwise direction. So quadrant doesn't play any role in whole circle bearing system, but whereas in case of quadrantal bearing system, the quadrants play very important role. So in what quadrant the line is lying, so the quadrant name will be written, and along with that what is the angle made by that line with respect to either north or south, whichever is nearer, that will be written there. So for example, so if a particular line makes an angle 35 degree with north and it lies in northeast quadrant, then it will be written as north 35 degree east. It will be written n 35 degree e. So that means what? That line is lying in northeast quadrant and it makes an angle 35 degree with north, right? And if the same, if another line lies in the next quadrant, that is in the southeast quadrant, then the angle made by that line with respect to south should be written, because south is nearer to that line, right? So you should first see uh, whether it is nearer to north or it is nearer to south. So if it is nearer to south, then south, the angle made by that line with respect to south should be written. So for an example, to tell you, imagine a line is lying at an angle of 100 degree from north, right? Just imagine. So there is north, and with respect to north there is a line at 100 degree, right? So if this is north, right? So 90 degree, then 10 more. I think it will be a mirror image for you people. So if this is 90 degree, then there is one more this angle, right? So this is north, and this is east. So one more, 10 more degrees, like somewhere here. So this line, that is 100, making 100 degree from north, actually will have the resemblance, like whether it is nearer to north or it is nearer to south, that you need to see. So it makes 100 degree with north, in the sense definitely the angle between south and that line will be 80 degree. Why? Is because angle between north south will be 180 degree exactly, isn't it? Right? So from north, if a particular line makes 100 degrees, so definitely it will be nearer to south. So that line should have a bearing south 80 degree east. That line will have a bearing south 80 degree east. Try to remember this. Okay, so in quadrantal bearing system, bearings are written with respect to north or south, whichever is nearer, even mentioning the quadrant in which the line is lying. So that is how you are supposed to see the difference between the whole circle bearing system as well as quadrantal bearing system, right? So in today's class we will move forward and let us see what different aspects or the concepts what we have for learning today. Okay. So we will see what different types of bearings we have, right? So there are two types of bearing. One is forward bearing and another one is backward bearing. Forward bearing and backward bearing. So these are also called as fore bearing, back bearing, right? So fore bearing of a line, back bearing of a line. So they are abbreviated as FB and BB. So FB for fore bearing, BB for back bearing. So you can see on your slide. I have a diagram to refer. So in the diagram below in your slide, so in the first left half of the diagram that is mentioned as small letter A there. So there is a line AB. You can see this line AB. So A is the starting point of the line and B is the end point of the line. So you can easily see it over the diagram that A is the starting point and B is the end point of the line. So how will you understand what is the starting point of the line and what is the end point of the line is by the letters what you assign for those lines. So if I am mentioning particular point of the line as A, that means I am mentioning it as a starting point of the line. If something is written as B, that means what? It is the next point or end point of the line. So nomenclature goes like this. So alphabetical order of the points mentioned of the line will be the consecutive points of that particular line. Like A is the starting point and B is the end point of the line. So as I have told you, bearing is nothing but the angle made by any line with respect to north direction. So measured at the extremities. If you remember my definition of bearing, so it will be generally measured at the extremities. Extremities in the sense what? It is the end point of the line. So always one line will have two end points, isn't it? So when one line will have two end points, either I can measure the bearing at the starting point of the line or I can measure it at the end point of the line. So if I am measuring the bearing at the starting point of the line, that is point A, then it should be called as fore bearing of the line. Understood what I am saying? If the bearing of the line is measured at the starting point of the line, then it is called as fore bearing. If bearing of any line is measured at the end point of the line, then it is called as back bearing of the line. So in the diagram A, you can easily see we have a north line shown as vertical line at A. Then angle between that vertical line, that is north line, and the line AB is written as theta, and theta is the fore bearing. Why it is fore bearing? Because it is A, which is the starting point of the line, and bearing is measured at A. That is why theta is fore bearing of the line. In the same line, there is a point B, which is the end point of the line, and there is also a north line shown vertical. North will not change its direction, isn't it? So if at point A, if it is vertical, at point B it should be vertical. North doesn't change immediately there. So if north is shown at B as vertical, so angle made by that, if you just look at the angle shown as theta 1, it starts from north direction and it is measured in clockwise direction. Look at that whole angle, that complete angle is the bearing of the line, right? And this bearing of the line is measured at the end point of AB, that is at point B it is measured. So that is why this angle, this bearing is called as back bearing. Theta 1 in the diagram is back bearing of the line, whereas theta is the fore bearing of the line. Clear? Right? So that means what? For any particular line, there will be two bearings. One will be fore bearing measured at the starting point of the line, and another one will be back bearing measured at the end point of the line, right? So try to keep this in your mind. So in the same way, we have one more diagram just beside the diagram. So there you have back bearing somewhat smaller in size than the fore bearing, right? Actually, the nomenclature is wrongly printed there. So A is B there and B is A, right? Because A, B, if you just look at the direction of the line is shown like this, and the arrow mark at the bottom of the line, if you just look at, so that shows the direction. So B should be written as A and A should be written as B there. It is wrongly printed there. So here at the bottom where B is written, that is point A, and there you have theta fore bearing, right? And where it is written A there at the top, it is actually B, and theta 1 is the back bearing of the line, right? So at the starting point, whatever bearing you measure, you call it as fore bearing. If the bearing is measured at the end point of the line, then it will be back bearing of the line. So try to understand this, right? And if a particular line is given fore bearing, then it is possible to calculate the back bearing. You need not to measure it, measure the back bearing always. So if you know the fore bearing of the line, you can easily get the back bearing, right? So looking at the diagram at the bottom here itself, you will be able to understand the relation between the fore bearing and back bearing of the line. But still I am going to explain you how exactly the relation, or what exactly is the relation between fore bearing and back bearing of the line. So interconversion of fore bearing and back bearing. If you know what is fore bearing of the line, how to get the back bearing, and if you know back bearing of the line, then how to get the fore bearing, right? So refer this particular diagram where theta is the fore bearing of the line and theta 1 is the back bearing of the line. So this back bearing of the line, this angle, this theta 1 back bearing of the line will be equal to fore bearing of the line plus 180 degree. Just look at this, right? So this AB line, if you extend forward, then that line extended forward and the north here will make an angle theta, which is exactly the fore bearing of the line, and remaining line will be 180 degree because it is a straight line, right? So I don't know whether you will be able to see whatever marking I am going to do there, right? Let us see. I am trying to make a line extension in the same diagram. So if it is possible, let us try one. Okay, I hope you are able to see that. So I am extending line AB. So when I am extending line AB, I will get one more angle here with respect to north. I will show you that. Look at this. Yes. Okay, can you see this blue colored angle? So this angle will be same as this angle, isn't it? So this will also be theta, right? So what about this bottom angle, that is the remaining angle? So definitely that will be 180 degree. So it will be 180 degree plus theta, right? So bottom 180 degree plus theta will be equal to total angle theta 1, right? So back bearing of the line AB will be equal to fore bearing of the line, that is theta, plus 180 degree. And in the same way, if you go for the second diagram, then back bearing will be equal to fore bearing of the line minus 180 degree, right? So in such cases, it will become minus, isn't it? Because fore bearing itself is larger than 180 degree, plus 180 degree cannot be this. So here you are going to have minus 180 degree. So in a similar way, you can extend this line further here, right? So this theta will be here. I will show you. So this will be angle theta, right? So theta 1 will be theta minus 180 degree now, right? So here you will have one more important note at the bottom. So back bearing will be plus or minus 180 degree with respect to forebearing. So back bearing is equal to forebearing plus or minus 180 degree. So that means what? If you know the forebearing of the line, you can get the back bearing of the line, right? So back bearing will be equal to forebearing plus or minus 180 degree. So when it is plus, when it is minus. So you have an important note written at the bottom. I have written one important note at the bottom there. Just look at that. If forebearing is less than 180 degree, then add 180 degree to get the back bearing. If forebearing is 180 degree, less than 180 degree, then add 180 degree to get the back bearing, right? So if you have the forebearing of the line less than 180 degree, then add 180 degree to that forebearing to get the back bearing of the line. And if forebearing is greater than 180 degree, then subtract 180 degree from forebearing to get the back bearing of that line. So if forebearing is more than 180, subtract 180. If forebearing is less than 180, then add 180 to get the back bearing of any line, right? So this is the way how you get your uh, forebearings and back bearings when one or the other way you get. So in a similar way, if you know what is the back bearing of the line, you can still get the back forebearing of the line. So in the same way. So in such case, forebearing will be equal to back bearing plus or minus 180 degree. Same way, nothing, no difference at all. Vice versa. So if you know forebearing of the line, you can calculate back bearing of the line. If you know back bearing of the line, you can get the forebearing of the line, right? So this is how the bearing calculation will be done. So I will give you one simple example how to get the back bearing when forebearing is given. I hope you will be able to understand with the example in the next slide. Look at this. I have 4 examples, out of which I am going to solve it for the first one, and I want you to have pen and paper and do the remaining 3 your own, right? So these are the 4 bearings given: 35 degree, 105 degree, 220 degree, 300 degree. So these are the 4 bearings of particular line, and you are supposed to calculate the back bearing of those lines, right? The first example, the forebearing of the line is given as 35 degree, right? And if forebearing is given as 35 degree, then I have to get the back bearing of the line. So you remember the formula. If back bearing is to be calculated, first you need to check whether forebearing is less than 180 degree or more than 180 degree. So in the present first problem, forebearing is given as 35 degree. So that 35 degree is definitely less than 180 degree. So hence I am going to add 180 degree to get the back bearing of the line. So back bearing will be equal to forebearing, that is 35 degree, plus 180 degree, that will be 215 degree. So very simple. So plus 180 degree in case if you have forebearing less than 180 degree, and if forebearing is more than 180 degree, then definitely you need to subtract it. So there are 3 more examples given. So I want you to have a pen and paper and work out these 3, right? So 105 degree. So 105 degree is less than 180 degree. So 180 degree and less than that should be added with 180 degree to get the back bearing of the line. So 180 plus 105, right? So that will be 285 degree. So 285 degree is the back bearing of this second line. In a similar way, third one, forebearing of the line is given 220 degree, and if I have to get the back bearing of that line, then I need to check whether it is more than 180 or less than 180. So definitely 220 is more than 180, so I need to subtract 180 from this, right? So subtracting 180 means 220 minus 180, so that will be 40 degree. right? So 40 degree is the back bearing of that line, right? Then we have the last example, 300 degree. So definitely 300 degree is more than 180 degree, so you need to subtract 180 from 300. So definitely it will be 120 degree. So 300 minus 180 is 120. So forebearing of that line is 120 degree. So if I could get the surface, I could have shown you, because I have the blackboard here. I couldn't get the exact way. Let me check. I have pen here which I can use. So this is how the calculation is to be done when you are very new to uh, conversion. I will take the third example, 220 degree. Let me take 105. Yeah, second one, 105. So this is not 105 degree. So north, east, then south, west. So north, I mean 105 degree means from north 105. So 90 plus 15 degrees. So I will change the color of the line so that you can see easily. Somewhere here you will get the line. So this angle what you will have here is 105. Kindly try to bear with me because I am writing with the cursor here. So this is 105 degree. So now if I have to get the back bearing of the line, this is forebearing, so that means what, this is 0.8, because forebearing of the line is measured at the starting point. And now if I have to show you the north direction here, I should have drawn it a little smaller, but still let us have one more way of doing this. So this is point B here, okay. So point B, I'm going to show. So for this point B, the back bearing will be this much, isn't it? So this is back bearing of that line. So forebearing is 105, so back bearing will be 105 plus 180 degree. So it will be 285, isn't it? So this angle will be 285. Quite simple one, right? So this will be 15 degree, so this will be 15 degree. So remaining 105 plus 180, so the total angle will be 285 degree, right? So this is how you are supposed to get the bearing. So if you know this particular funda, where if forebearing is less than 180 degree, add 180 degree, and if it is more than 180 degree, subtract 180 degree. Try to remember this, okay. Moving forward, so if a particular bearing system, if I have to follow, like we have whole circle bearing system and we have quadrantal bearing system. In most of the times the bearings will be either given in whole circle bearing system or they may be given in quadrantal bearing system. So one should know how to convert from whole circle bearing system to quadrantal bearing system and quadrantal bearing system to whole circle bearing system, right? So we have one of the textbook example here. So in the first type of question number A, convert the following whole circle bearings to quadrantal bearings. So these are whole circle bearing system. I mean, given in whole circle bearing system, you need to convert it to a quadrantal bearing system. So in the first example, if you just look at 22 degree. So 22 degree means what? This is given in whole circle bearing system. Whole circle bearing system means angles are given with respect to north only, measured in clockwise direction, right? So 22 degree 30 minutes from north, it makes angle 22 degree 30 minutes, right? So whole circle bearing given is 22 degree 30 minutes, and reduced bearings will be north 22 degree 30 minutes east, because it lies in the first quadrant, that is northeast quadrant, isn't it? Let me draw the quadrants here so that you can easily see in which quadrant that particular line lies. I hope you will be able to understand. So this is the first line which makes an angle 22 degree 30 minutes with the north, right? And this is east, this is south, and this is west. Okay, so northeast quadrant it lies in, so it will be north 22 degree 30 minutes east. Second example is 170 degree. Look at this, 170 degree 12 minutes. I will take an yellow color line. I hope, yeah, I will take darker blue. So 170 degree 12 minutes, 170 degree from north it is, right? So from north 170 degree means almost nearer to south, isn't it? Look at this line, right? So this complete angle is given as 170 degree 12 minutes. So this line it is nearer to south. So if I have to convert it into quadrantal bearing system, remember in quadrantal bearing system you check whether the line is nearer to north or nearer to south. So definitely this line will be nearer to south, right? And what is the angle this line makes with the south, you need to check. So north south will have 180 degrees, so definitely this angle will be 180 minus this angle, so that angle is 170 degree 12 minutes. So it will be 9 degree 48 minutes. So this angle, the angle made by the line and south will be 9 degree 48 minutes, right? So the quadrantal bearing of that line will be south 9 degree 48 minutes east, right? So this is how the quadrantal bearing system will be written. So in a similar way, the third one, 211. So 211 will be somewhere here, right? Not exactly here, but somewhere here, right? So it lies in southwest quadrant, so it is nearer to south once again. So south 31 degree 54 minutes west, right? So you need to subtract 180 because you need to get this angle only this angle is required. The given angle is from north, right? So this complete angle is given. I am going to show it in yellow color. So this complete angle is the whole circle bearing, but quadrantal bearing is only from south to that line, right? So you need to subtract 180 from that. So 211 degree 54 minutes minus 180 degree, that will be 31 degree 54 minutes, and the line lies in southwest quadrant. So it will be south 31 degree 54 minutes west, right? In the similar way, the last line it is 327, so it will be somewhere in the last quadrant, northwest quadrant, almost nearly 360. So this line will be line, so it is nearer to north. So 360 minus the bearing of that line will give you this angle, which is the bearing of the line in quadrantal bearing system, right? So it will be north 32 degree 36 minutes west, right? So this is how the conversion takes place. In a similar way, if the bearings are given in quadrantal bearing system, how you will convert that into whole circle bearing system is another example given at the below. So in that, the first one, north 12 degree 24 minutes east, northeast, look at this, northeast. So 12 degree 24 minutes means what? It makes 12 degree 24 minutes with north line, right? So that is the reason why the whole circle bearing is north 12 degree 24 minutes, because in whole circle bearing system angle is with respect to north, and in quadrantal bearing system that particular line is with respect to north means, so definitely we are going to get the same angle. So in quadrantal bearing system the quadrants are written, remember, but in whole circle bearing system only angle is written. So with respect to north it is written, so that is the reason why we don't mention quadrant, because it is always with respect to north, right? And it is always measured in terms of clockwise direction. So look at this, the last example, northwest quadrant. So even though it is nearer to north, and you cannot write this as the angle bearing, right? It should be completely the whole north direction, and it should be written in a clockwise direction, right? So the second one, south 31 degree 36 east. Look at this, southeast, right? So 31 means in the second quadrant, so definitely it should be 180 minus this angle, that will give you the angle with respect to north. So that is the reason 180 minus 31 degree 36 minutes, so that is 148 degree 24 minutes. So that is how the quadrantal bearing system is converted into whole circle bearing system. So if you are aware of the quadrants, and if you know what is the whole circle bearing and what is quadrantal bearing, then definitely it will be easy for you to convert them into one another. Clear? So try to practice more and more number, and try to get the solution for such problems. And these are some of the examples or applications of bearings. So if I have the bearing of any line, whether I will be able to get the angles of the line or not. Look at the small example here. So there is line AB and there is line AC, and I know what is the fore bearing of line AB and what is bearing of line AC. I know both the bearings. So one is written as theta 1 and another is written as theta 2. Theta 1 is fore bearing of line AB and theta 2 is fore bearing of line AC. And angle between line AB and AC is mentioned as alpha, right? So if I have to get alpha, look at the diagram, you can easily understand that theta 2 minus theta 1 will give me alpha. Quite an easy thing, isn't it? It is simple geometry. So if you know what is the angle, what is the bearing of any particular line continuous in nature, then you can easily get the included angle or angle generally between the lines, right? So angle between two lines will be generally called as included angles, right? So in the further example, I have one more thing to show you. So if I have the angles, whether I will be able to get the bearings or not. So simple thing. So if you know that this is alpha, and if you know what the bearing of the line, then bearing of next line can be easily calculated. So in the example in the diagram, line AB has got fore bearing of theta 1. This is known, and alpha is known, right? So alpha is known and beta is known, gamma is known, all these things are known, right? So bearing of line BC will be theta 2. So this theta 2, how I am going to calculate, that is what is the problem what you have right now in this. So bearing of next line BC, that is like second line. So bearing of second line BC, that is nothing but theta 2, will be equal to theta 1 plus alpha minus 180 degree. So that is what is geometry. So because this north to complete this dotted line, what you can see is theta 1, right? So in that theta 1 you are supposed to add alpha, right? So that is what is theta 1 plus alpha, then you need to subtract 180 degree from that, because that gives you the complete horizontal angle, that is 180 degree. So if you subtract 180 degree, you are going to get the theta 2. It is geometry. If you just have this diagram in your paper and if you work out, you will get to know about that. And the same problem you have even with your textbook. It is the problem from your basic Punja textbook itself. You can refer that textbook and you can get the understanding of this particular problem. So in your examination, such problems will be asked, where bearings will be given and they will ask you to calculate the angles, and they will give you angles and ask you to calculate the bearings of the line. Moving forward, this is one more example where you are going to convert fore bearing to back bearing and back bearing to fore bearing. So just work out these things so that you can understand the better way of converting fore bearing to back bearing and back bearing to fore bearing. So whenever you try, you just note down the question at the top and try to work out your own, and then just tally with the answers whatever given in your slide, so that you can get the clear idea of converting them to each other, right? I hope this video has helped you in understanding the bearing system and their interconversion. Okay, thank you.